Hola! Welcome to my channel, The Golden Stitch. My name is Alejandra and I'm a Mexican living in Scotland. And today we're gonna talk about my 2026 knitting goals. But first, since this is my first video, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. As I mentioned, I am a Mexican living in Scotland. I've been crocheting for 5 years. As many of you, I found a craft that helped me during the pandemic in 2020 and is the best thing that happened to me during that time. And ever since then, I've been really intimidated about knitting, but I've been curious about trying. I actually started trying a couple of years ago. I did a domestica course. I learned to knit and purl, but I got really discouraged because I wasn't really enjoying knitting with really thick yarn, and I left the project unfinished and I never touched the needles again until October last year. I went to a yarn festival. Actually, my intention was to buy some yarn for crocheting because I've been crocheting. Crocheting has been my main hobby since 2020. But once I went to the yarn festival, I actually felt really inspired to try knitting because most of the people that attended to the festival were knitters. And it was like most of the yarn was really targeted towards knitting. And I just got really inspired and I got curious again. I grabbed my needles. I started watching YouTube videos and I actually loved getting back to it. I mostly focus on accessories. But this year, I really want to have some goals to help me keep organized and start knitting some garments. So without further ado, let's talk about my knitting goals for 2026. So for my goals, I decided to organize a bingo card. I've done this with my goals last year, just my personal goals, and I found it was really helpful to keep me organized and focused. And I saw other YouTubers doing similar things about knitting goals. So yeah, I decided to do the same with my goals. And I got inspired by Yeji, also known as Maidco, who organized her bingo card really interesting. In the middle 9 squares, she focused on the Make 9 projects, and I really like that idea. So please go check her video. But I got inspired by her, and I made a similar thing. So let's talk about the main Make 9 projects. So for these projects, I already have a specific pattern in mind, and I actually, for most of them, if not all, I already have the yarn as well. So that's why I'm keeping them in the middle, because they're more concrete plans. And whereas the rest of the goals are more like ideas or general topics that I would like to achieve. So for my first sweater, I would like to knit the high stripe sweater. It is by Veronika Lindberg, or also known as kutovakika. And the reason why I chose this pattern is because it's all stockinette, but I know myself and I tend to get bored when something is too repetitive and it doesn't have like a shorter achievable goal. So I chose a stripe pattern because I think the changing of the colors will keep me engaged just enough to not give up the pattern, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. And I really like this design and I really like how the stripes are organized. It's a decade weight pattern and 4mm needles, and actually here you can see a little bit of a sneak peek of the colors I'm going to use for that sweater. So that's going to be my first sweater and my first Make 9 goal. For the second pattern, I would like to do the Salty Day sweater, also by Veronika Lindberg, kutovakika. I actually bought this couple of patterns during the sale she had in winter. And I chose this one because she has a full video on making it step by step. And since I'm a really beginner knitter, I think it will be really helpful to have this video and to help me keep me learning. I'm a very visual learner, and I think the video will be very helpful for me. It's also DK weight. and I already have the yarn for it. It's gonna be knitting for Ollie Heavy Merino and the shade Rust. I love that color. I saw someone in the project's page and Ravelry, and she used that yarn, and I fell in love with it. So it's been on my mind ever since, and that's why I decided to add it to my knitting goals. There is another reason why I really like this pattern is because it combines lace and a little bit of cable techniques, and I think it'll be really cool to learn new techniques as you go, and it will also keep me engaged. For the next pattern, I would like to do the Poetry Pullover, the mohair edition by Sari Nordlund, and this motif looks a little bit like a peacock feather. So I have already in stash a yarn that is the peacock color, and that's why I chose this pattern, because I thought it would look very beautiful. It's also a DK weight pattern and 3.5 millimeter needles. And the yarn I have in stash is, I believe the mohair is Drops, and the merino is by Hobby, I believe. I have to double check. But yeah, I already have the yarn, so this is gonna be another project in my goals. And next is a very special project. During Christmas, my husband gave me a sweater's quantity of Cardi Cashmere Classic in a shade red. I can't remember the name of the shade, but it's bright red. And I knew immediately which pattern I was gonna make, because I had already seen this Winnie sweater, and I really love the details on the collar and the sleeves with the lace, and I think it looks so beautiful and elegant and cashmere, so I think it's the perfect project to utilize that special yarn. And this is also a DK weight and 3.75 millimeter needles. And next is a project that I actually already cast on, is a Lulu Slipover by PetiteKnit. I already cast it on last year around Christmas time, and I'm using the yarn from Hobby Friends Merino in the shade Maroon with mohair. I saw other versions using a little bit of a burgundy / maroon color, and I really love these colors, so I thought it would be a nice idea to go that route. And this is also DK on 4 millimeter needles. As you can see, I'm gonna be needing mostly DK because I find that is the most versatile weight, and I find that is the most wearable for me for the climate that I live in, and just like to use it mostly all year round. For the next one, this is pattern that a kit actually that came with the yarn included and the pattern that I bought in a local yarn shop, and it's for a home decor accessory. It's a cushion, and it's so cute because it's in the shape of a fox. It has little ears, and it's like a color work. I don't know, I believe it's in Tarsha. I have to double check what technique is being used, but it doesn't look too complicated. It looks simple enough for a beginner, and it's already in my stash. It has been there for a year, just sitting, waiting to be cast on. So I think it's a good year to finally cast on that project. And next, I also want to do crochet garment. It's the Aria Sweater. Ever since I started knitting a couple of months ago, it has taken over as my main hobby, but I would still like to keep a crochet project because that's just my comfort zone, and it's what brings me the most relaxation, and it's more mindless for me since I'm more familiar with it. So I chose this Aria Sweater because I love how drapey it looked, and like the gaps, and it's just really, really beautiful. And it's by LelaArapi, and it's using a 6 millimeter hook. And I already have also the yarn on stash in the light purple and knitting for olive merino and mohair. I actually bought a bunch of yarn in the knitting for olive winter sale, so a lot of my projects are going to be using that, which is really exciting because I've never used it before. And then for the next project is also a very special project. I have a few friends that are either pregnant or just had babies recently, and I would like to knit some baby booties. I have a couple of patterns in mind. One of them is with crochet, is a puff pea stitch cuff booties by Twisted by the Sea, and the other one is knitted is a Woolix Booties by Frida Raaberg. I can't decide which one I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll do one of each. I'm gonna end up doing probably a couple of these, since I mentioned I have a few friends that I would like to gift knit that for their babies. So yeah, I'm just adding it to my knitting goals because I know it has to happen. And then for the next one is the Cityscape Hat by Tori Yu. I've actually already finished the cowl, and I started also knitting them by the same the same collection, the Cityscape cowl. And I started one of the mittens. I've been really struggling with the mittens because small circumferences are really tricky for me as a beginner, and it's really fiddly to deal with small circumferences. So I decided to put it on pause until I feel more comfortable and I gain more confidence, and then I'll get back to knitting that second mitten. But I would like to knit the Cityscape hat to match my set. And this is also in Cardiff Cashmere, classic in red. I bought this yarn before my husband gifted me the sweaters quantity, but it's actually in the same shade. So yeah, it will be a whole set of the Cityscape collection, and I think it's really beautiful, and I would like to have that as a goal for this year. And so that's the end of my Make 9 patterns. And for the rest of the goals, they're more general. I don't really have specific patterns in mind. It's just things I would like to focus on this year. So I'll go around the bingo card and try to go over all of them. So first, I have 4 goals related to yarn. The first one is to try a Scottish yarn. I think it'll be really nice to try something local. I know most of the Scottish yarns I've seen are a little bit more rustic. So I think it'll be good for an accessory or maybe a cable sweater. The pattern that I'm planning to knit for the cushion comes with a Scottish yarn. So maybe I'll take advantage of that pattern to check off this goal as well. Oh yeah, as a side note, some of these goals are gonna overlap with each other, but since this is my first year knitting, I think it's realistic to have it this way. I don't want to overwhelm myself with too many goals. I still want to keep it realistic and achievable, but yeah, like still challenging. The next goal in the yarn category is to try different yarn compositions. I've mostly just worked with acrylic and cotton in my years crocheting, and that's just what was the most available and affordable to me, that what I was able to afford. And now I've been really gravitating more towards natural yarns, natural fibers, and I've been really enjoying knitting with wool and cashmere. So I would like to try different compositions and try to find my what I like, what I don't like. So yeah, I want to keep that as one of my goals. And then I also want to use the yarn I currently have on stash for 50% of my projects. I have a big stash since a lot of it is from my crochet years, but also during the winter sale, I bought a lot of yarn, as I mentioned, from the Knitting for Olive sale and multiple others. And I also received the Christmas gift. So I think this is achievable. If anything, I should probably go higher, aim higher, because I really need to focus on reducing my stash and try not to be tempted by beautiful yarns and not buy too much. And then the next goal is to go to a yarn festival. I really enjoyed going to a yarn festival this year. It gave me so much inspiration, that I want to replicate that this year. I want to go maybe to a different festival. The one I went to, it was in Glasgow. It was by the School of Yarn. Maybe this year I can go to the London one. I also have in mind there's one in Wales. But I keep an eye of other available yarn festivals available here in the UK and see which one is better, works best for me. Next, in other random categories, I would like to make 3 accessories. Ideally, probably I'd like to make more. I really like working in small projects because it gives me that instant gratification and it keeps me motivated. I feel like knitting a full garment is still quite hard for me. But hopefully if I keep myself organized and I choose patterns that I will be really excited to wear and have in my wardrobe, then I'll keep the motivation going. But I still like to keep 3 accessories in my list because I think that's something that would be good for instant gratification. And then the next goal is to knit a cable garment. I've seen so many beautiful patterns online that have me really inspired, and I would like to have this as one of my goals. And then the next one is to knit a stranded colorwork pattern. I've already have quite a few in mind, mostly by LelaArapi. It's a very popular designer, and there's lots of her colorwork patterns that went viral, and for a good reason. I think they're gorgeous, they're really, really beautiful. And I have my mind on 3 of them. The rose sweater one, and then there's the terracotta and the porcelain sweater. I think those 3 are gorgeous. I can't decide which one I'm gonna make. I think the one leading is the terracotta one, but I'm gonna decide once it comes close to me casting it on. And I also want to gain a little bit more confidence before one of those projects because I think it'll need a little bit more skill. And then I also want to knit a summer t-shirt. I'm not really a person who wears sleeveless tops, and I've seen most people, that's what they do for summer knits. But I also have seen some beautiful t-shirt patterns, and I think I would wear. So I would like to find one and knit this summer. I think it'll be a nice thing to have in my wardrobe. And then I would also like to knit a cardigan. And I think this will be a really good item to have in my wardrobe for wearing on top of dresses or just like throwing on top of other garments and that I already own, and it'll be more wearable. So I still don't know what cardigan I'm gonna make, but I hope I can make one this year. Another goal that I have this year is to finish 3 graveyard projects. I have a lot of unfinished projects, mostly crochet. I think all of them are crochet, and they're almost finished. Like a lot of them need just a little bit of sewing, or they need a zipper, or they need like the finishing touches, but it's the part I enjoy the least. So they're just in a drawer, and it's a shame because they're beautiful, and I would like to keep myself accountable. And if I have it as one of my goals, I think I'll manage to finish 3 of them. And then I have also 3 goals that are more in the category of building community or getting or being part of a community. So far, my crochet / knitting adventure has been quite solitary. So I have a friend that got me into crocheting. Her name is Leila. She lives in Brazil, and she's been my only friend that I've been discussing my hobbies with. But I would really like to be more part of the knitting community. I've seen online that is a really kind and really nice community, so I would like to be more part of it. And this is one of the reasons why I'm starting my YouTube channel. But I want to have 3 more concrete goals in this category. So one of them is to attend an in-person knitting workshop. I think if I go in person, I'll be able to talk to other people and hopefully meet other people that share my same passion, and just meet new people in general. And then the next goal is to post 10 YouTube videos. I think And it's a very, very ambitious goal because I don't feel really comfortable in front of a camera, but the whole reason why I'm doing this is so I can get to know more people. I put myself out there. I have an outlet to share my passion and to share all all I have to say, because I always want to talk about knitting and I'm already boring all my friends and everyone around me because they're not really interested in that. So yeah, I would like to find more people that share my passion. And the last goal in this kind of category is to make a new friend. So as I mentioned, I have my friend Leila, who I talk to pretty much every day, but she lives in Brazil, and I would love to meet someone nearby that I can go have a coffee and knit together. I think it will be really great, and I have it as one of my goals. I don't know if it'll be possible, but hopefully, if I put myself out there and I try to go to an in-person events, hopefully it will happen organically. And then I have also 2 goals that are related to learning new techniques. I would like to try different types of construction, specifically for sweaters. I've seen there's like drop shoulder, raglan, or like saddle shoulder construction, and I really don't know what's the best fit for myself. So I like to experiment with different constructions, see what works best for me, what I feel more comfortable in, what flatters me the most, and and just to learn new techniques. It'll be really cool. I will also like to learn to do German short ropes for shaping. I heard that it really makes a huge difference to your garments in the way they fit and make it more customizable to your own body. So yeah, I would love to learn how to do them properly, so that I can make really unique garments that are customized for my body type. And last but not least, I would like to try to be more organized with my projects. I always feel like the reason why I have so many unfinished projects is because I'm not organized. But hopefully having this video out there and having my bingo card with all the girls can help me be more organized and more accountable for the projects that I have in mind this year. And hopefully I'm setting myself for a successful knitting year. But more than anything, I would like to enjoy all the projects I make, because the whole reason why I'm doing this because it's my hobby, it's my passion, and I do it because I love it. So yeah. Thank you so much for listening, and if you'd like to hear more about what I'm working on, check my channel and I'll be posting more videos. Specifically, I'll be posting a vlog on my first sweater, all the things I'm learning as I go. I've already had to frog my sweater, spoiler, after 9 hours of knitting, but it's been a learning experience, and I want to document everything, and I want to share everything I'm learning in case it is helpful to anybody, and in case it helps inspire other people to also pick up this amazing hobby. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.